good, I hope. Boy, I've been having some time with my equipment. It's been acting up and going crazy. I don't know what's going on here. I guess it doesn't like the subject matter. Maybe it's a liberal. Who knows? Anyways, I am talking about that age-old boring subject about the vaccinated and the unvaccinated. For those of you who are just joining me, I just put in my camera just went out for a second, so I'm going to welcome you again to the Black Eye Podcast. And how are you doing? I hope you're doing well. Well. There's an interesting article here that I was reading. It was about, in the Washington Examiner, and it's entitled, "No, we do not need to protect the vaccinated." I wonder why. So, the article goes on to read this. To justify his sweeping and constitutionally dubious employer vaccine mandate, President Joe Biden is claiming his order is necessary to, quote-unquote, protect the vaccinated. If that's the case, what's the point of vaccination in the first place? My question exactly. I did several podcasts on this. I beat this horse to death. I did a 2-hour podcast on the detriments of the vaccine mandates in the first place, especially when you're demanding and insisting that the people who get the vaccine wear a mask indoors. What is the point of it? What is the point of it? No point at all. But here we go. You get the vacine's efficacy wears off, and then you have to go back and get another shot. And he's got this mandate. And why do we have this mandate? But I'm going to finish the article because I'm over here about the fuss. The coronavirus vaccines are supposed to protect people from serious illness and death. And thus far, they have been highly effective in doing just that. Exactly. Multiple studies have also shown that they protect recipients from the virus's mutations, including the Delta variant. In other words, vaccinated adults no longer need to fear COVID-19. They are more likely to die from a car crash or a bee sting or a dog attack than from COVID-19. That's what everyone who had the virus, who were fully vaccinated, were saying. They felt sick. Yes, they were sick. It sucked to be sick. But they recovered. It didn't last, a week. It lasted maybe a week, 4 days or something like that. And they quickly recovered and were back at work in 4 days or less. Or let's just say 7 days or less. They were back at work. So here we go. Biden is trying to convince them that they're still at risk. I said this. He straight up lied to the vaccinated, telling them that they are at risk from the unvaccinated, which is total bullshit. I called it out. Check me out. The Black Eye Podcast. We cannot allow, and this is what he said, the unvaccinated to stand in the way of protecting the large majority of Americans who have done their part and want to get back to their normal life as normal, he said last week. This is not about freedom. That's exactly what he said. Or personal choice. It's about protecting yourself and those around you. The people you work with. The people you care about. The people you love. The bottom line, we're going to protect vaccinated workers from unvaccinated co-workers. That's fantastic. But you then have to explain why, when the vaccinated person is working with the unvaccinated person and the vaccinated person gets sick but the unvaccinated person is fine, who exactly, or who's protecting whom from what again? I'm confused. Vice President Kamala Harris made a similar statement on Sunday. By vaccinating the unvaccinated, increasing our testing and masking, and protecting the vaccinated, we can end this pandemic. This is exactly what we are committed to doing. That's what she tweeted. Why do the vaccinated still need protection? That's a very good question. If the vaccine, and we know this to be true because people who have gotten the vaccine got sick, had COVID, had the Delta variant, and recovered, then why do the vaccinated still need protection? From whom? And again, if the unvaccinated are getting tested weekly, and you're working with, vaccinated people, and you decide not to get the vaccine, and you opt for weekly testing, and you're getting weekly testing, and every week it's proven that you don't have vaccine of COVID in any way, shape, or form, then who are you giving COVID to? Either the vaccines work or they don't. Right now, it seems like Biden and Harris believe they don't. That's a very interesting observation. It also seems like they believe a zero COVID world is possible when it isn't. I think they have already said that COVID is here to stay, is an endemic now, which puts me into a question of, if these vaccine mandates, what does that mean for the future? Does it mean then that if you don't get your booster shot, you're going to lose your job? The first booster, the second booster, the third booster. I mean, after you've gotten the vaccine and you've had COVID and you recover from COVID, and now they're saying to you, oh, now you have to have the booster shot, so you can't keep your job, and exemption is not an option for you. I mean, what does that actually mean going into the future? Because it seems to be no end to these mandates. It really doesn't. Biden's team has previously argued that the threat the unvaccinated pose to vaccinated adults is the chance that COVID-19 might become a more dangerous variant. It's already a more dangerous variant. In fact, I'm going to mention it because I don't know what's going to happen, but there's a Lambda variant out there that is totally resistant to vaccines. Thank God it hasn't gotten here yet. But again, this downplays the effectiveness of the vaccines, which have been proven to be very effective against the virus's variants. A couple of other common arguments Biden's defenders have rolled out go like this. 1. The unvaccinated create a different kind of safety risk by filling up hospitals and emergency rooms. And 2. The unvaccinated are a threat to those who cannot get vaccinated even if they wanted to, i.e. children. Neither of these accusations hold up. Multiple studies have shown unvaccinated children are safer from COVID-19 than fully vaccinated adults just by virtue of their age. Right, remember when they tell us to follow the science, but remember when the death in children or children contracting COVID was minimal, and death among children is minuscule. It's not even like something that you even have to worry about. It's minuscule. Okay? And despite the recent wave of Delta hospitalizations, our healthcare system has proved once again that it is capable and resilient. Indeed, the greater threat to hospitals' operations seems to be Biden's own vaccine mandate. A hospital in New York just had to shut down its maternity ward temporarily because so many of its employees choose to quit rather than get the jab. I'm not telling you what to do, but in short, we need to learn to live with this thing. And that means accepting the fact that COVID-19 is never going away. Those who get vaccinated will stand a much better chance against the virus than those who do not. But ultimately, individuals must decide for themselves whether the risk is worth it. Biden's mandate is a violation of this right to choose, and there is no justification for it. Amen. The vaccines work. Let's stop pretending they don't and allow everyone, vaccinated and unvaccinated, to get about to their lives. Amen. Amen. Amen to that. That is an opinion by Kaylee McGee White. And it is, no, we do not need to protect the unvaccinated. And that is a perfect point. I mean, if the vaccines are working and people are being protected from the vaccine, and another thing, he said 75% of the nation is vaccinated. I thought the goal line was 70% of Americans had to be vaccinated. It turns out that 2/3 of the population, out of 322 million people, 200 million people, according to Biden now, that's according to him, are vaccinated. That's what he said. Somewhere between 175 million and 200 million people have been vaccinated with their first dose. That's a lot of people. That's a rip-roaring success. And now he's trying to, what's he trying to do? Like, threaten the unvaccinated? I like when he said, like, we're losing patience with you. What are you going to do to us? Like, what are you going to do? You're going to take the unvaccinated out and shoot us? I mean, for real. What are you going to do? You're going to shoot people who are unvaccinated? We're losing patience with you? You have 75% of the population vaccinated. 75. That's an enormous success. 200 million out of 322 million people are vaccinated. And if the vaccines work, and you know, to create herd immunity, you needed only 70% of the people. You have 75% of the people. What is going on that you need to force the rest of the remainder of the unvaccinated people who are unvaccinated, to get the jab? What's going on with that? Why is that a thing? Anywho, that's my question for the day. Thank you for watching and sticking with me. Listen to my podcast, the Black Eye Podcast, over on Anchor.fm, and also contact me on Twitter, and I'm here on Instagram at MHIGH my 1029. You have a great day. Bye bye.